see here, we have a varied set of speeds in terms of reaching a critical rate of vaccination across EMEA. We have, of course, critical emerging EMEA markets like Turkey, like Morocco, that have been seeing increases in their vaccination pace, Qatar and the UAE as well, and Saudi Arabia. But we also have, unfortunately, laggers such as Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, and in that mix, Ukraine as well. Overall, however, despite the variation in the speed of vaccination across the region, you can see here our expectations for restrictions related to COVID-19 into the first half of next year. Overall, we believe that the current vaccines will be largely effective in preventing a speed rise in hospitalizations, even with some manageable variants that might emerge. And we believe that governments will be prioritizing economic pickup and will try to limit as much as possible the restrictions they would put on their economy. So overall, you see a pretty green table here, which is going to be driving the assumptions that you'll be seeing around our growth forecasts into next year. Of course, many of our clients are continuing to use scenarios and watching some risks in key countries that we might want to highlight, one of which is Russia, and I'll turn it over to Mark to share a quick update on that.
Sure, great. Thanks, Zainab. So as noticed on the previous slide, Russia's sort of the anomaly amongst the major markets across EMEA in terms of a little bit more uncertainty regarding the COVID outlook. Russia, as you can see in this chart here, is going through another wave, but this is actually a continuation of the Delta-induced wave from this past summer, which Russia really never fully managed and never really flattened the curve. And now we're seeing another acceleration as students are back in schools, people are going back to offices a bit more, international travel is picked up and things of this nature. So we are seeing another acceleration in cases back to their highs of last winter. The expectation is that this is going to continue at least for the next several months through the entire winter, deep into through Q1 really of next year as a result of the extremely low vaccination rates. So the question becomes more on the executional side. On the executional side, what can happen in terms of the route to market, engagement with partners, the sales model, as Zainab is talking about in Russia, now that there's much more concern regarding the potential for stronger restrictions, in particular, QR codes to enter restaurants, bars, cafes, maybe limits on transportation, domestic transportation amongst regions, entering the metro in different cities and things of this nature. So this, of course, would have an impact on execution, potentially demand, and especially in an environment that is the political environment that has changed with the Duma elections over, having been conducted in September. Now the government a little bit less accountable and maybe could take some unpopular measures like implementing QR codes and things to help drive up vaccination rates. Mm-hmm. Moving back towards Western Europe, again, the focus here of the webinar today, of course, will be across all of EMEA. Western Europe, a little bit less of a focus, but of course, what is going on in Western Europe is absolutely critical, naturally, to the trade relationships, currency movements, fiscal and monetary policies in Central and Eastern Europe as well. The good news is that we have seen, by and large, a return amongst the major markets in Western Europe back to the mobility levels that were witnessed really pre-pandemic and then even last summer when they got to their highs. So this is very positive news. The expectation is that this should continue. And of course, this will be absolutely critical to help revive further these economies over the course of 2022, which in turn, of course, has significant impact on driving up trade and demand in Central Europe, some North African countries, etc.
Mm-hmm. And I guess all of this really means that we are heading into a period of most likely normalization to continue in terms of mobility levels, and we are entering that period of more or less that post-COVID environment. And of course, businesses are evaluating how their sales structure should look like in this kind of that now new normal, which includes opening up and the ability to see clients and partners face to face, but at the same time, the freedom to decide the extent of that. And we held our EMEA Executive Roundtable virtually last week, where we brought together senior executives at the EMEA level and discussed a few key themes, one of which was this future of the sales process. And a few takeaways that we can share with you from that is businesses are very much focused on understanding in depth the journey that their customers take in reaching their products, and evaluating where in that journey is the right moment to integrate some digital elements and enhancements to that customer's journey. Understanding the needs of the customers is also very critical. We are talking about a vast geography across EMEA. The level of readiness, the level of desire of digital engagements varies across the geography, and businesses were focused on finding the right mix for the right customers. They were very much focused on upskilling their local teams for using digital solutions a lot more effectively in their sales process. And they are also trying to evaluate the optimal way of integrating experience into that digital sales process as well, finding the right moments and the level of face-to-face contact for the customers in terms of experience in their products. And that goes for any kind of B2B, B2C, or even with the government sales, all critical to still integrate a level of experience for the customer. And last, of course, as this entire process adapts to integrating more digital solutions, updating KPIs for that process and for the team is also a focus area for executives.